And we're back with Richard Reviews. Today we're reviewing a book for richardreviews.com/Griffin Chestnut here on YouTube. This, of course, is Richard's personal page where he is able to upload and review all of his personal content that he has acquired throughout his life. Today's book that Richard will be reviewing for us is titled The Troop by Nick Cutter. Apparently, Nick Cutter is a national best-selling author, and that title, of course, Richard feels is undeserving, as we will get into this piece in its integrity. Right off the bat, this is Richard's personal piece, which he attended through an aberration of different dialect courses that he taught, and his thesis, which you can click in the link in the description, which he uploaded to his personal blog. Right off the bat, we're going to get into this piece, what Richard thought about this piece, what ultimately led to his conclusion at the end, and for an overall grade of this piece, Richard gave it 2 thumbs hard down. That's 2 thumbs hard down for this piece. Richard was not a fan of this piece. He thought it was a big waste of his time. Unfortunately, he read the book in superior speed, considering the fact that Richard is the most commonly known as the most proficient reader of his graduating class. He obtained this piece in 2014, and he read the entire piece in that same year. It's essential to know that Richard did a lot of outdoor activities, including camping, hiking, in the North American region, especially the North New York region for upstate New York, near the town of Schenectady, where Richard grew up. He completed this piece up there and eventually thought about it enough to write his own personal review, which is a full-length, detailed review on this, which is over 66 pages long and can be found on his blog, which he uploaded right after in 2014 as well. This can all be found in the description below. As for the official title of National Best-Selling Author Nick Cutter, Richard feels that he does not deserve it, considering the fact that he did not enjoy this piece. This piece dealt with a lot of different climax issues about unfathomable crops being grown, and a select few, almost a knockoff of a lot of Stephen King books and The Lord of the Flies. Anything that's in this book story-wise can be found obviously inspired by a lot of other famous books. So in terms of bringing anything new to the table, Nick Cutter doesn't bring anything new to the table. This is a very bad piece in Richard's eyes. In fact, about after 5 years of owning this book, Richard plans to sell this for a low price, for a marginal error, or maybe even just give it away for free, considering how much he distasted and did not like this book at all. We're going to get into the whole piece, and we're going to talk about what exactly Richard didn't like, but we're going to first talk about the outline and, of course, the cover, and what makes this book unique in many retrospects. Richard is having trouble finding it, but he will try his best to ultimately get the gist of it. So it is a soft cover, as you can tell. And the cover is a little shady down here. There is an odd bend mark, which is faultolated with a very embarrassing cover. As you can see, the cover image is almost a knockoff of the original movie starring Tommy Lee Jones and Harrison Ford, The Fugitive, whereas you have this misty island along the case with this derelict lake. It's a blatant cop-off of the Fugitive and its sequel, U.S. Marshals, starring Wesley Snipes. So after you get past the awful cover design, we're going to take a look at the actual, the overall piece itself, and we'll get into it. As for the condition of the book, Richard keeps all of his the condition of his pieces very well, and this is no exception. All of this is in great condition, excusing the really atrocious and embarrassingly bad book design. The cover is just very poorly developed. It looks like a very cheap B movie of a Bollywood sensation that came out in the 1970s. It brings nothing new to the table, and Nick Cutter ultimately should not be contributing to the artistic value in books that are released if he's going to continue with subjects of this manner. In a very polite way, Richard has nothing but good things to say about all the other books that he's read in terms of all the intellectuals, the philosophical, even the fiction, and the notoriously funny Charles Bukowski. But unfortunately, Nick Cutter brings nothing new to the table, and Richard has nothing but negative things to say about him because he feels he doesn't bring anything artistically to the table. On this side, we have More Good Condition, and we have The Troop by Nick Cutter, and the generic, formidable, aforementioned gallery books. In the back, of course, we have more undeserved praise for this piece, The Small Synapse. Of course, we have fiction up here, since it is a work of fiction. It's a horribly done work of fiction, Richard would say. And, of course, more undeservedly praise for this Nick Cutter, who Richard feels is a very lazy author in terms of getting his thoughts together. We have the price here, right by the barcode. And the official price in US is $16 US and 22 Canadian. So $16, of course, being the under $20 mark for Richard himself, since Richard refuses to pay anything more than $20 for the pieces he reviews, except for the premium specials. The technical consultant that works for Richard felt the need that certain books and certain pieces deserve it more than others. This piece does not. Had this piece been $20 or more, Richard would have signed it off as unexcusably expensive. And the fact that it was $16 is the only reason why it is in Richard's hands right now. And it won't be for long, considering how bad Richard thought of this piece. Here is some more embarrassingly plugins for the author. He linked his Twitter and his Facebook page. More inappropriate stancher, which has nothing to do with the story and the artwork itself, just to plug himself in a very embarrassingly way. Okay, now let's, as we can get into the actual story of the troop here, we can figure out why Richard disliked this so much and how one could avoid making the same mistakes as Nick Cutter did when he put together all these words and paragraphs to make this atrocious novel, which isn't even coherent in some areas. I mean, this doesn't even make any sense. There's numerous grammatical errors, and there's also very big plot holes. In fact, some characters not only just die off randomly, but don't even end up in the same universe, and neither is any of this explained. So ultimately, Richard has a big failure for this piece. A big thumbs down for this piece. Not enough merit here. This, unfortunately, is the person responsible for this horrible piece of work. This is Nick Cutter. Let's get a close-up of him. Fortunately, Richard has nothing but bad things to say about this man because his piece of artistic value is nothing to speak of. He has done nothing in the world of artistic value and should rethink his artistic merit, and therefore ultimately wasted $16 on this atrocious piece. So that's Richard's final assessment of The Troop by Nick Cutter. Nothing but bad reviews over here. This one gets a very bad review. Possibly one of the worst books that Richard has ultimately read. So that's it for Richard Reviews. I hope you don't go out and purchase this one and waste your time. It's not worth it. This is The Troop by Nick Cutter.